Now it's time for the Virtual Awards. The games of the Virtual Boy get their accolades in different categories and everlasting glory. Best Graphics. And the nominees are Virtual Bowling, impresses with its scrolling and scaling bowling lane. Red Alarm, the wireframe graphics look futuristic and varied. Boxer, for its huge sprites and cool looking robots. Wario Land, detailed backgrounds, countless detailed sprites, this is pure class. And the winner is Wario Land. Red Alarm has the best 3D graphics, wireframes or not, but there was never much debate. Wario Land has the best graphics on the Virtual Boy. Best use of 3D. And the nominees are Wario Land, obstacles and enemies as well as Wario traversing two planes, and it works. Bound High, bouncing, very convincingly. Space Squash, the layering is done very well and the cubish field feels very 3D. Boxer, when you get punched, you almost feel like it. And the winner is Bound High. Wario Land lost by a hair, but the feeling of falling and bouncing in Bound High is unbeatable. Best Music. And the nominees are Bound High. Every song is good, but the one for the second world stands out. Panic Bomber. Every song is good, and this one takes the cake. Jack Brothers. The whole soundtrack is not all hits, but it does have the best song on the Virtual Boy. Galactic Pinball. The song for the Alien board really took me by surprise. And the winner is Panic Bomber. Jack Brothers might have the best song, but Panic Bomber has such a collection of greats that it won in the end. Best Attempt at Virtual Reality. And the nominees are Red Alarm. The first-person view puts you in the cockpit of a wireframe jet fighter. Innsmouth no Yakata. After a while you really start to feel lost in an eerie house full of monsters. Bound High. Even though you look at the character Chalvo, the 3D really draws you in. Boxer. You feel like you're in control of a hard-hitting robot. It's empowering. And the winner is Boxer. The first-person view coupled with the arm control does the best job at making it feel like you're one with the robot. Best Box Art. And the nominees are Innsmouth no Yakata. The appropriately red design along with the spooky mansion makes for good box art. Red Alarm, Japanese box. A large visor and a plane whizzing by, very nice. Jack Brothers, American box. This looks very menacing, misleading but very good looking. Panic Bomber, Japanese box. Very cartoony, has a lot of characters and just character overall. And the winner is Jack Brothers. Jack Brothers American box is not representative of the game really, but damn does it look cool. This is Halloween as it looked before every holiday had to be for the kids. That's it for the Virtual Awards. Congratulations to the winners, and to the losers, sucks to be you. Now it's time to rank all the games in the Virtual Boy library. Here I've decided not to rank simply after my scores, but after what games I think are the most fun to play. Some games with a higher score will place lower because while it had features worth respect, other lower graded games might be more fun to play. So here goes. Number 23, Virtual Lab. Coming in at the very bottom of the list is Virtual Lab. It's the only game that could be considered broken, with the odd control and the non-functional password system. It's ultimately playable, but there's very little reason to do so other than curiosity. Number 22, Virtual Fishing. Virtual Fishing is a very competent game, and for the right person the score could double. But for me personally, this is a game I never play, because it's boring. It has a lot going for it on an objective level, but I can't derive any enjoyment from it. So it ranked very low on my list. Number 21, SD Gundam Dimension War. Slow, turn-based strategy combined with a poorly executed battle game makes for a pretty bland experience. It also doesn't help that I know nothing about Gundam, although I do still like the grid. As a side note, this game has recently been translated by fans over at Planet Virtual Boy. Number 20, 3D Tetris. 3D Tetris tried something new and did what it could to entertain. At best it has the satisfaction of building with Lego, but most of the time I feel it's too slow and more like an IQ test than a game. Number 19, Space Invaders Virtual Collection. This is Space Invaders, in a total of 4 variants. They vary graphically only. The gameplay is good old Space Invaders through and through. If you like that, you'll like this. For me, I like it moderately. I don't think it's held up as well as, say, Breakout or Asteroids, but it's okay. And I like the graphics in the 3D versions. Number 18, Golf. While I have never had the patience to play all 18 holes, I do like golf games. This one is good, but it's also the one game where the redness detracts a little. But the game as a whole is competent, and the graphics are good. It's just golf. Number 17, Virtual League Baseball. I'm not interested in baseball as a sport, and that affects my enjoyment of this game, but it's an okay game with nice graphics and music. This game is at the center of the Virtual Boy game scale, not fun enough to be upper half, and fun enough to stay out of the lower half. Number 16, Waterworld. Waterworld is regarded as the worst game on Virtual Boy, but it seems I didn't get that message. Although it's a shallow game, it's got an arcade feeling, it's fun to blast stuff, and I really like the gloomy music. Number 15, Mario Clash. This is the closest we got to a real Mario game on the Virtual Boy. It's well short of classic territory, but it's the best remake of Mario Brothers there is, and a decent game overall. Number 14, Teleroboxer. Punch-Out with robots in first-person view. I can imagine this placing a lot higher on other people's lists. It's too bad that I stink at this game. Number 13, Mario's Tennis. Mario's Tennis is the only Virtual Boy game that started a franchise. The launch title for the Virtual Boy, this game didn't really set the world on fire, but it's a thoroughly decent tennis game. Number 12, Vertical Force. I never thought in my life that I would place a vertical shooter this high on a list of games. Shmups are one of my least favorite genres because they require an insane amount of reflexes which I don't have, and I'm generally shit at them. This one though entertained me with good music, good graphics, a helpful helper power-up, 2 planes of planes, and health. I hate one-hit kills in all games, and most shmups has it, but this one doesn't. Number 11, Innsmouth no Yakata. The one horror game on Virtual Boy sucked me in with its mansion setting and first-person view. After getting over the shock of learning that you can't move freely like in Wolfenstein, I got hooked by the atmosphere, tense music, and creepy enemies. I like it. Number 10, Galactic Pinball. I like pinball. Who doesn't? The single drawback to this game is that there's a puck instead of a ball, and it handles oddly when it's near the flippers. But the game makes up for it with interesting tables, minigames, and the possibility of playing a minigame with Samus Aran herself. The graphics and music are also very good. Welcome to Space World, let's go! Number 9, Virtual Bowling. The most expensive game to find for the Virtual Boy, but unlike the other super rare ones, this one comes close to being worth it. Well, It's not worth $1,300, but you get my point. The game is deep with its tournament that you can save in, and the graphics and animation of the lane are top notch. It just feels advanced overall. Number 8. Nestor's Funky Bowling. For me, this edges out Virtual Bowling by a small margin. It's got more of an arcade feeling, and getting to see short animations after every shot livens it up. The music is funky, and the control mechanic is easy to use. It's fun. Key. Number 7. Jack Brothers. A mix of Gauntlet and Zelda. This game is good. Having 3 different characters and difficulty selections add replay value, and it takes a while to beat. It's a shame though that the coolest character is the most difficult to use. Jack Brothers has the best song of the Virtual Boy library, and the graphics are very good too, even though the 3D isn't used that well. This game is worth investing both money and time in. Number 6. Space Squash. Space Squash came as a complete surprise, and I like it a lot. Basically 3D Pong with robots. It's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. There are special attacks, obstacles, power-ups, bonus stages, bosses, many levels, and it's just fun. The best game Coconuts Japan Entertainment ever put out. I love that name. Number 5. Panic Bomber. Tetris will always be my favorite falling block puzzle game, but this is a worthy challenger. The game is more fast-paced than Tetris, with a competitive angle to it, even if you can only play against the computer. And the music, man, the music. Number 4. Red Alarm. Most people think wireframes look cheap, but I like it. And wireframes enhance the virtual reality feeling by a lot. Of course, it also helps that this is a good game. It doesn't have any of the personality of the Star Fox games, but it has all the gameplay. And the replay system where you can adjust the camera while watching is very impressive. Some people love Red Alarm, some people hate it. I love it. Number 3. V Tetris. It doesn't matter what system it's on. If it's Tetris, it's bound to make a top spot on the list of mine. This version is made by the makers of the Game Boy version, and this version is even better. The blocks slide down instead of jumping on a grid or whatever you call it. The music is good, the graphics do their job, and even though I never played Mode C, I respect that they added something new. V Tetris is a very good incarnation of the classic game, and it's one of my favorites. Number 2. Bound High. It's a bit of a cheat including this game since it was never released, but it is playable now, and it is complete. And boy do I wish this game came out during the Virtual Boy's lifespan, because at least judging on how fun it is, it could have helped out a lot in turning the fortunes of the Virtual Boy. It's a lot of fun to jump on enemies, especially when it really feels like you're jumping on them. The graphics are good, the 3D is used expertly, the music is great, and the game has many levels as well as 2 extra modes. It's a crying shame that this game was never released. Number 1. Wario Land. It's no surprise to anyone that this is number 1. I've already said that I think this is the best game for the Virtual Boy. And while not all people agree with me, most of them do. Wario Land is good enough to stand up to some of the Mario games, and I think it's the best of the Wario Land series. The graphics are excellent, the 3D is implemented most everywhere, and it's a lot of fun searching for treasures and alternate routes. This game should be re-released, ported, or remade. Now! So, that's all folks. I reviewed all 23 Virtual Boy games, as well as all of the homebrew games. It's been fun. I leave you with these quotes from some of the users at Planet Virtual Boy.